The Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa, Section 67. Often enough, the surface and illusion catch me, their prey, and I feel like a man. Then I'm happy to be in the world, and my life is transparent. I float, and it gives me pleasure to get my paycheck and go home. I feel the weather without seeing it, and there's some organic sensation that pleases me. If I contemplate, I don't think. On these days, I'm particularly fond of gardens. There's something strange and pathetic in the very substance of public gardens that I'm only really aware of when I'm not very aware of myself. A garden is a synopsis of civilization, an anonymous modification of nature. There are plants there, but also streets. Yes, streets. Trees grow, but there are benches beneath their shade. On the broad walkways facing the four sides of the city, the benches are larger and almost always occupied. I don't mind seeing flowers in orderly rows, but I hate the public use of flowers. If the rows of flowers were enclosed parks, if the trees shaded feudal retreats, if the benches were vacant, then my useless contemplation of gardens could console me. But gardens in cities, useful as well as ordered, are for me like cages, in which the colored spontaneities of the trees and flowers have only enough room to have one, space enough not to escape. And beauty, all alone, without the life that belongs to beauty. But there are days when this is the landscape that belongs to me, and I enter it like an actor in a tragicomedy. On these days, I'm in error, but at least, in a certain way, I'm happier. When I'm distracted, I start imagining that I really have a house or home to return to. When I forget, I become a normal man, reserved for some purpose, and I brush down another suit and read the newspaper from front to back. But the illusion never lasts long. Partly because it doesn't last, and partly because night arrives. And the colors of the flowers, the shade of the trees, the geometry of streets and flower beds, it all fades and shrinks. Above this era in which I feel like a man, the enormous stage setting of stars suddenly appears, as if daylight had been a curtain hiding it from view. And then my eyes forget the amorphous audience, and I wait for the performers with the excitement of a child at the circus. I'm liberated and lost. I feel, I shiver with fever. I'm I. 68. The weariness caused by all illusions and all that they entail, our losing them, the usefulness of our having them, the pre-weariness of having to have them in order to lose them, the regret of having had them, the intellectual chagrin of having had them while knowing full well they would end. The consciousness of life's unconsciousness is the oldest tax levied on the intelligence. There are unconscious forms of intelligence, flashes of wit, waves of understanding, mysteries and philosophies that are like bodily reflexes that operate as automatically as the liver or kidneys handle their secretions. 69. It's raining hard, harder, still harder. It's as if something were going to collapse in the blackness outside. The city's uneven mountainous mass looks up to me today like a plain covered by rain. All around, as far as my gaze reaches, everything is the pale black color of rain. I'm full of odd sensations, all of them cold. Right now, it seems to me that the landscape is all a fog, and that the buildings are the fog that hides it. A pre-neurosis born of what I'll be when I no longer am grips my body and soul. An absurd remembrance of my future death sends a shiver down my spine. In the fog of my intuition, I feel like dead matter, fallen in the rain, and mourned by the howling wind. And the chill of what I won't feel gnaws at my present heart.